The Authority of Real Estate Brokerage in Quebec, its disciplinary committee, concluded that real estate brokers Christine Giroir, star of the show Numéro 1 on the Casa Cable real estate cable network, and her spouse, also a broker, Jonathan Dauphinet-Fortin, did orchestrate a stratagem of bogus purchase promises to create overbidding. News which has set shockwaves across the industry. Joining me now is Sébastien Bonnerot. He is Vice President of Century 21 Quebec and the owner of the Century 21 Élite office in Cantley, Quebec. That's near Gatineau. Sébastien, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Good morning, David. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very, very busy. Thank you.
Okay, that's good to hear. But my goodness, this was a shocker. This made all the news items, all the media outlets were talking about this. Everything this thing got public a few months ago. Tell me exactly what happened here.
Well, I think it's a classic case of us coming off of COVID and being used to receiving multiple offers on properties because of the very, very high demand. As you know, in 2020, our market shifted completely to a seller's market, which means that the demand is higher than the offering, which causes us as realtors to sometimes receive multiple offers on a property. It's not a simple exercise. The mechanism of receiving multiple offers is a little bit complex, and we have to operate in the utmost transparency and professionalism, because what happens is we have various buyers literally fighting to purchase a good that's listed at a certain price. And every time we receive more than one offer on a property, we have a responsibility to every buyer to advise them of this. We cannot exchange any information whatsoever as to the content of the offer, the price, the conditions. But I do want to go back to buyer number one and say, oh, by the way, there is another offer. Would you wish to enhance your offer or not? Or do you wish for me to present it as is? That's the basics of it all. What I see happen in this particular case is that perhaps during this crazy times of quick sales and multiple offer period that we had for a couple of years, what I understand from it is that developed a system where they would actually write additional offers that were not with real clients. And again, I'm interpreting what I read on the OACQ. I'm not in the file. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not giving anyone any legal advice here.
Sure.
Apparently what they're doing is that they were creating other offers and forcing real buyers to enhance their offers because they knew that they would have to be more competitive. And so that's what happened here in this case.
This is huge in the sense that, okay, you have Christine Giroir, who was like already on TV. She was very, very popular. They seemed to, her husband, Jonathan Dauphinet-Fortin, her seemed to be doing very, very well. They were kind of the face, or one of the faces of your industry. I mean, how were they perceived before, and how do you feel about them now?
Well, we're in the sales domain, and if you go back to the roots of the OACQ, which is a governing body, the realtors exist to protect the public.
Right.
And all of these laws in real estate, the REBA, for example, the Real Estate Brokerage Act, across Canada, is in place to protect the public, not realtors. However, we are professionals in our field. We undergo strenuous training activities, continuing education, and we take dozens and dozens of courses and training to stay up to par with the industry, which is an evolving machine and system. I would say that because we're in sales, I suppose that some individuals will want to do more, make more, advertise more, and are very eager to increase revenue. So in that respect, I can't answer as to why they would do this. I would say that for the past few years in Montreal, we've been in a very dynamic market, both as a selling agent or buying agent. A lot of very successful agents in Quebec, and there are very few who would commit such activities and I will use the word crime because I feel that unfortunately, when we have a colleague or an agent that does something like this, it really shows on the entire profession. And you may have 99.9 agents who are honest and perform their work diligently. But when you have a classic example like this of people who are a little too ambitious and that decide to work outside the legal frame of what we're supposed to be doing, it affects everyone, and it gives everyone a really bad perception about the industry.
So, Sébastien, I got to ask. So, let's say I'm in the market and I put in an offer for a house, and my agent comes back to me, my real estate agent comes back to me and says there are other offers. How can I make sure that? I mean, is it just a question of trust here, or is there something I can do to make sure that I can verify that there are other offers that are higher, and I'm justified in maybe adding money to my offer?
See, the interesting thing is you do not get information as to the quality of the other offers. So even if your realtor calls you and says, listen, there are other offers, they may be lower than yours. And what's very complicated about this is that you do not know if you do need to bonify or not. So the only criteria that you're working with is your realtor, who, again, he doesn't know or she doesn't know if the other offers are better because she's not necessarily the listing agent either, right?
Right.
I think there's a trust factor. I think you need to be educated on the market analysis of what you're purchasing. So many buying realtors do not go through the process of educating their buyers on market value. What we need to do is sit down with our buyer and go through the exact same process as you would with a seller, which means pull out comparables. What has sold before COVID? What has sold in the past 2 months or 90 days, even though I'm in a super dynamic market? And what's my personal threshold regarding how much can I pay for this property? And why do I need this property? Is it the location? Is it because I have a new job and I have no choice? Am I divorcing and I need to actually buy a house in the next 30 days? There's a lot of factors that play into this. But at the end of the day, as a realtor, we need to be able to sit down with our client, Mr. Buyer, educate them on the market analysis of what he's about to purchase, and make an educated decision as to, okay, are we trying to pay best possible value for this, or are we trying to win a bidding war, which are two completely different things?
Very interesting indeed. So I guess the best advice here is find a reputable realtor and also prepare, educate yourself, and do your homework, right?
I mean, absolutely. And, laws have changed in Quebec in the past year, and this is very fortunate because now double representation is no longer legal, which means, how you would sign a listing brokerage contract with your listing agent. You now need to sign a purchasing contract as well with an agent, which means that you rarely will be represented by the same agent. So it's very important to understand the impact of this on the industry. You hire your purchase agent, your buying agent, and this way you will get fair, mutual representation along the way that I think, in my opinion, will limit the risk of this sort of thing happening again in the future.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Sébastien. I appreciate it.
Thank you, David.
Sébastien Bonnerot, Vice President of Century 21 Quebec and the owner of the Century 21 Élite office in Cantley, Quebec. That's near and around Gatineau.